Welcome to a new series on the channel called Master Plan, where I take a look at bosses in video games and look at just how good their plans for world domination could be. First, we're going to take a look at the plan, why it kind of went wrong, and what we could have done to make it work a little bit better. The main stipulations for this series are going to be the following. We're going to avoid using cheap explanations that are purposefully obtuse and obvious. For example, how come Bowser didn't just lock the key behind the door so Mario couldn't get in? You know, I think it would kind of defeat the purpose and spirit of this type of content to come up with such a simple solution. Because you could just as easily say, well, if he doesn't have a key, how come Mario doesn't just blow up the door? The other rule is that I'm going to avoid talking about things in hindsight as much as possible. For example, Bowser wouldn't really have any idea that Mario would meet a partner like Bombette that could blow up cracked walls, so he wouldn't really have had the hindsight to fix the walls to prevent him from getting any further. And as you probably could have guessed, the character we're going to highlight in this very first episode is Bowser from Paper Mario for the N64. To start looking at Bowser's plans, we want to know what his ultimate goals were. From the official transcript of the game, we can see that Bowser's goals are the following. He wants to become invincible using the Star Rod. He wants to gain an undisputed position of authority over the Mushroom Kingdom. He wants to win the favor of Princess Peach through a grand display of power. And he wants to eliminate Mario and any other threat that may oppose him on his way to this goal. Now, if you're Bowser, these are all pretty great goals, aside from maybe gaining the favor of Princess Peach, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later. How does Bowser plan on obtaining these goals? Let's take a look at the plan that he used in this story, and we're going to summarize it for simplicity here. So step 1 of Bowser's plan is going to be to invade Starhaven's sanctuary and steal the Star Rod, an item that has the power to grant all wishes. Step 2. Subdue each of the Star Spirits, entrusting one of each to Bowser's generals, the chapter bosses, so the Star Spirits may not be united to stand against him. Step 3. Use the Star Rod to gain invincibility and insane power. Step 4. Either build or move Bowser's castle underneath Peach's castle without the kingdom noticing. I'm assuming he built the castle directly underneath it shortly before taking off into the sky, as having to move the castle will be very conspicuous, and I think would make a lot of noise and likely alert some suspicion from some of the guards in the kingdom. Another possibility is that Bowser could have used the power of the Star Rod to transport the castle underneath Peach's castle. This would have made it way easier to avoid suspicion, but it's really unclear if Bowser had the power to do something like that with the Star Rod, at least at this point in time. But he said it had the power to grant all wishes, so it's definitely a major possibility. Step 5 is going to be lifting Peach's castle into the sky, cutting off all outside support from the kingdom, kidnapping Peach, and gaining a vantage point while he irons out his plan for invincibility further. The final step in this plan is keeping tabs on the princess, having patrol guards monitor the castle so she can't leave and interfere with his plan. It's unclear what he really wanted to do after this, but I assume he would probably want to continue pursuing control over the kingdom until he wins over Princess Peach. Overall, the plan seemed really straightforward and has the potential to go really well for Bowser. Let's take a look at some of the areas where this plan is already worked out, and what ideas are really smart on his end. First of all, he got access to the Star Rod so easily and managed to take it for himself with seemingly little effort. This, I would imagine, would be one of the hardest parts of this plan to execute, because he had to stand up to the Star Spirits and successfully get away with the Star Rod, as well as subduing each of the Star Spirits for the next phase of his plan. That's not easy. Splitting up the Star Spirits so they can't oppose him protects him from losing his invincibility. There aren't many avenues for Mario to really take on this one. The only known way to possibly break the invincibility is by using the Star Beam, so this was really smart of Bowser to think of ahead of time. Up next, cutting off Peach's castle from the rest of the kingdom and practically holding it hostage not only gives Bowser the personal space he wants with the princess, but also prevents anyone from reaching him by normal means. I think this is a great part of the plan. He may not exactly be able to win over Princess Peach with all these different things that he's doing, but he truly believes that Peach will come around eventually and learn to accept him in enough time. If you like what you're seeing so far, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Consider leaving a comment too, as it helps me out so much, and I do love hearing from you guys. Now that we talked about where this plan's gone so well, we need to talk about where the cracks in Bowser's plan ended up breaking the entire thing apart. Small mistakes and lack of thorough planning on Bowser's end allowed Mario to narrowly find a path to continue all the way up to Princess Peach's castle to defeat him. But where did he go wrong? Without hindsight of what happens to Bowser in the story, what plans could he have made that preemptively would have prevented Mario from stopping him? Let's take a look at some of the ways Bowser could have had the upper hand. Number 1. Properly disposing of Mario in the prologue. There was an insane power difference between Bowser and Mario at the beginning of the game, and rather than launch him outside of the castle with that lightning bolt, if he really wanted to make sure Mario wouldn't have been a threat, it may have just been a better decision to imprison him within his own castle. Let's face it, Mario wouldn't be able to escape from prison without his partners, or even a hammer that he didn't have yet. And even if he was able to escape, Mario's level 1 at this point if he wanted to use the game's logic. Being surrounded by Chapter 8 enemies would be an absolute nightmare for him. He'd either have to dodge them and make his way up to Bowser, a fight he still wouldn't be able to win, by the way, or somehow manage to defeat Chapter 8 enemies with limited resources, enough times to get strong enough to fight him. Let's play out this scenario a bit further. If Mario did happen to get the max level of 27 and approach Bowser, he still wouldn't be able to beat him if he has the Star Rod. The best way Bowser could ensure Mario is subdued properly is by assigning 2 Koopa Patrol guards to him at all times so that he can't escape. And if Mario did try to escape, he'd get into an unwinnable battle at this stage of the game. Number 2. Stronger distribution of Star Spirits. Instead of spreading all 7 Star Spirits across the Mushroom Kingdom, Bowser could have kept 1 with him, and only distributed 6 to the remaining generals. From Bowser's own understanding of how the Star Spirits work, they're only a real threat to him when all 7 are reunited, so holding on to just 1 of them completely shuts down Mario's ability to fight back against the Star Rod. It's a simple failsafe. If Mario beats every single boss, frees 6 of the Star Spirits, and storms Bowser's castle, he still can't level the playing field. By doing this, Bowser doesn't really think that all of his generals are going to fail, but this offers an avenue for him to continue his plan just in case the worst happens. Additionally, limiting this to 6 may eliminate the need for Mario to go to one of the areas, and he may not even meet a partner that could help him make it to the end, although this would really be an unintended consequence. By keeping a Star Spirit on his person, Mario would be unable to reunite all 7 to stand up to him. A possible avenue that Mario could take in this instance is using Twink as a stand-in for the 7th Star Spirit that was missing, temporarily disabling his Star Rod power for long enough to retrieve the 7th and gain access to Peach Beam, but that's also under the assumption that Twink can output the same level of star power as one of the Star Spirits. Even if this is the case, if Bowser implements this next part of the plan, things are still going to look pretty grim for Mario. Number 3. Stronger Peach surveillance. During the Peach cutscenes of the game, Peach was able to roam into the castle and sneak into other rooms and learn more information to relay to Mario regarding the upcoming chapters, letting him know where to go next. Cutting off Peach's ability to travel freely through the castle would have severely limited Mario from getting any information on where to go next, leaving him lost and confused. But Bowser is kind enough to let Peach roam around in her room, but she's not allowed to leave and walk around the castle freely. If I were Bowser with no hindsight information, I would be posting a guard in front of each door at all times, so only approved personnel can be going in and out, rather than having them walk back and forth throughout the room with a flashlight. You know, intruders can really only go in and out of doors after all. So we're going to go through each chapter, and let's see how far Mario could make it without any help from Peach and Twink in terms of knowledge. Starting with the prologue, Mario was notified by the vestige of Eldstar that the Star Spirits want to meet with him at the top of Shooting Star Summit, since they lack the power to communicate with him in Goomba Village. This forces Mario to go through Toad Town, where he encounters the mysterious black toads that accidentally reveal the first Star Spirit's location in Koopa Bros Fortress. So Mario's doing okay without Peach's intervention so far. During the Peach cutscene after Chapter 1, Peach uses the hidden path behind her fireplace to go into the room with Bowser's diary. This is where Peach and Twink learn about the second Star Spirit located in Dry Ruins. In the events of the game, Twink leaves the castle to inform Mario of his next destination, and I think this one's still pretty doable, since Peach was able to use her hidden hallway and evade all of the guards that would have been posted in front of the doors. So Mario would still be able to complete this chapter normally. For Chapter 3, Mario learns about Gusty Gulch when he receives an invitation to Boo's mansion from Bootler, Lady Bo's assistant. Interestingly enough, Lady Bo captured the Star Spirit from Tubba Blubba, but uses him as leverage, only giving it to Mario if he can defeat him and ensure the Boo's safety. With this, Mario learns about all the events from Chapter 3 without Peach or Twink's help. In Chapter 4, Peach and Twink take the secret passage again through the back, and happen to overhear Kammy Koopa talking about Shy Guy's toy box. In this case, they would have evaded the guards again, heard the information again, and been able to report to Mario after being sent back to a room, so this one's going to still be possible. During Chapter 5, Peach and Twink get information from Gourmet Guy, but would be unable to reach him with proper security blocking each door. So in this scenario, Peach and Twink would never learn about Mount Lava Lava, and while the whale still may have appeared at the harbor, Mario wouldn't really have any reason to take him to the island since he has no idea where the Star Spirit is. For Chapter 6, this would only really be doable if Mario completed Chapter 5, since Colorado gives him the final remaining Miracle Seed in exchange for the volcano base, which he gets after going all the way through the volcano, something he wouldn't really have ever done without any leads on the Star Spirit. He would also need Sushi to collect the Bubble Berry, which is required for the story unless you use glitches, which don't really apply here. Mario is seemingly unaware of where the next Star Spirit is until he enters Flower Fields, where the wise Whiskerwood notifies him that there must be one here, and then he needs Mario's help to bring Sunshine back to Flower Fields. Peach and Twink learn about Flower Fields in the quiz show, but never seem to report to Mario with this information afterward. Finally, in Chapter 7, a Ninja meets with Merlon to inform Mario that Merlon's son Merle is waiting for him in Starborn Valley. Merle informs Mario of the location of the final Star Spirit as it was shown to him in a dream. Without going to Lava Lava Island in Chapter 5, Mario wouldn't receive the Ultra Hammer, and by association the Ultra Boots necessary to complete Chapter 7, so Chapter 5 really serves as the stopping point for Mario here. You might be wondering, well, if Twink can't tell us where to go, don't we have a fortune teller that can tell the future and guide Mario in the right direction? Well, yes, that's actually really true, which does bring me to my next flaw in Bowser's plan: identifying and dealing with other threats in the Mushroom Kingdom. Bowser, whether it be by his own negligence or overconfidence, seemed kind of unbothered about any other roadblocks in his plan. The main enemies that he identified were Mario and the Star Spirits, and no one else was really strong enough in his eyes to stand up to him. Naturally, he was pretty much right for the most part, but one key figure still serves as a roadblock that can arm Mario with the tools to succeed and take on Bowser. And that's the sages, but mostly Merlon in particular. Merlon's a sage that's capable of reading Mario's future and guiding him on his next step in the journey for a modest fee of 5 coins. It's unclear if the other sages could do this if Merlon was suddenly put out of commission, but if I were in Bowser's position, I would identify the key threats that could even give Mario the tools to stop me. Without Twink or the sages, Mario would be completely lost and unable to continue further. With all that information out of the way, I'd like to do a little bit of a recap with all the adjustments we've made to Bowser's plan, and while they're really good adjustments on their own, they're even stronger when you put them together. So let's see what our ideal plan as Bowser would be. Step 1 is going to be to steal the Star Rod from the Sanctuary, which we've already done. Step 2 is to divide 6 Star Spirits between the 6 generals and keep one for himself. I would like to think that he would be able to use this Star Spirit's power in battle for himself, which would make him even stronger. I think Time Stop would probably be the best one for him, because he wouldn't really need to heal himself, because he's invincible, but having the Time Stop ability might give him a chance to escape if there was some kind of flaw in his plan. Step 3 is going to be to lift Peach's castle into the sky after Mario's arrival to the party and defeat him. But this is where it changes. Step 4 is going to be to imprison Mario in Bowser's castle down below, surrounded by guards. Step 5 is going to be posting at least one guard in front of every door in Peach's castle to limit Peach and Twink from moving around. And now Step 6 and beyond is kind of uncharted territory, now that Bowser has more room to succeed and channel power from the Star Rod. If I were in Bowser's shoes, I'd take Step 6 to kind of experiment with the Star Rod's power, understanding its wish-granting capabilities. And once I've mastered using the Star Rod, Step 7 would be simply to amplify it further using that platform from Chapter 8, where you fight Final Bowser. With amplified power, I could potentially do more than just increase my strength and durability. I might even be able to gain new powers, take control of the Mushroom Kingdom entirely, and go even further beyond with anything I could ever want or dream of, aside from the love of the princess that I did all of this for. And maybe that's the most ironic part of all of it. All the time spent you chase power and infamy, you're just unable to share it with the person that you admired and you wanted to do it for. I don't think love's something you can really manufacture through power or influence. I think it's more cultivated through shared experience, communication, and compassion for one another. Bowser really wanted to rule with an iron fist, but his soft-hearted tendencies would shine through when trying to talk to Princess Peach. He offered her freedom in her own room with her own comfortable bed while trying to communicate with her as much as he could while still upholding his ideals for strength. While Bowser wanted to be charitable to Peach to show her his sensitive side, they ultimately just had different ideas of what love really meant. And if that's the case, was Bowser's plan really that bulletproof? It's up to you to decide that one. Please let me know what you would add to the master plan to make it truly unstoppable. Thank you for watching.